Hello, welcome back to Tarot for Our Times. This is Sarah, your medium on the go. And tonight we do have a bit of a continuance, which I think every reader is doing, with what's going on in the Middle East with Iran and Israel, and is the United States going to get involved? And the theme around this tonight is the Magician in reverse, and this deals pretty much with what some other people regard as his intuition, but in a very reptilian sense, of not in any spiritual way, but a very primitive reptilian way. And but since this is in reverse, well, in reverse, it means that there is some ability, but it's not being used in the correct way for the highest and the best, as this thing he's holding up. So it's for the lower reasons, lower energy. It's also, it can be interpreted, I think in this case, as the magic is fading. It's not really working anymore. And when he was pressed in, when are you going to decide if the United States is going to get and really involved in this? And his answer was the answer it's been for everything, whether it's his tax returns, whether it is been his new health care plan. It's been in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I will have made up my mind. The crazy thing about this is that things are happening so fast. It's not like trying to figure out a health care plan or some policy thing. This is a very fast moving thing. But we've all come to realize that in 2 weeks is actually too weak to know about what is going on. So, things are moving fast. I guess Israel and Iran are just bombing the hell out of each other. So I want to do a read on kind of like where this is going. But I also think that in that presser that he did about this, it's really another example of his cognitive decline. So I think what I've noticed that I and the others have been doing is that every now and then we check in and see what is going on with his health, which is really getting worse. So we will do that as well. It'll probably be mostly his mental health, and I've gotten the cards shuffled up using slightly different ones. So we will begin just with the possibilities of what this could be happening with us, the rest of the world. We'll just see what the cards have to say. So, time to lower this down so we can see the screen. I do need to put this closer. Okay, so the base card for this is the Hierophant in reverse. So the Hierophant is, it's about government institutions, that sort of thing. But it's also been seen in the more religious readings as maybe the Pope, but it's a teacher. And he's usually got the followers are there somewhere in the foreground. But this is in reverse, which means that he's going against all of our government institutions. But at the same time, this is and I did cover this in a preview of a recent reading, is that this is dividing the Magas, the isolationist Magas, and the other Kool-Aid drinkers who think that he can do no wrong, but they're pretty hopeless a lot. So this is in the more institutional way. excuse me, he's losing his magic. So let's see. I mean, he's got the whole cabinet fighting, and I think Petey Boy's getting really, really. I just watched a very short video by one of the young guys. I think it was Adam Mockler, who is saying that they're not even talking to Pete. I mean, I don't know how much longer he can last. Okay. So the energy crossing, this is, can't make this stuff up. This is the sword, Ace of Swords in reverse, that is telling one big lie after another in a monumental fashion. It has, I think one of the reasons that this is telling, that this is trying to convince people that they've got weapons of mass destruction. We were down that road 22 years ago. 22 years ago, 2003, I believe. So in the Before Tarot, we have the Queen of Cups in reverse, and she's getting ready to grab onto the cup. But wow, it's amazing with these readings. These cards are coming up, and so many in reverse. But with her reaching for the cup, this is telling me that it is filled with toxicity, poison, that sort of thing. If it were upright, it would be the nurturing spiritual waters. But this is she's just reaching for the poison. Then in the After Tarot, we have the Hermit. The Hermit. He's getting more isolated. He's grabbing onto something very toxic, and it's going to come back. It's going to bite him. It's going to bite him. That is, and that dog next to him knows that that's going to bite him, and it's poisonous and doesn't want to go near that. Okay. So that's what we have in that. And underlying all of this is, here we go. This is the corrupt crime family. But I would also say, with Pentacles in reverse, it's not only the crime family, but they're not working together. It's falling apart. It is falling apart. Then we have the Knight of Swords, which is communication, rash communication, words that could be said that could be regretted later. And that goes to this 2 week. That's the 2 week thing is walking back on whatever rash, because he said 2 weeks to a lot of stuff 10 years ago when he had announced his running. Oh, I'm going to have my platform in 2 weeks. Well, that was 10 years ago. Okay, then we have the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles reversed, which is, I think it's all about the funny money that has been passed, the deals that he made with the Qatar airline and all this. So it kind of like crooked deals with funny money that's behind a lot of this. That's why he's not putting it off because of fear of World War III. He's putting it off to see which hand is going to wash the other, because I think he was told that this is a very, very complex thing with these different countries. I don't understand it. He certainly doesn't understand it. Okay, so in opposition, the opposing energy is, we got the Ace of Cups here. And this is all about a lot of this is emotionally driven. All of this stuff is emotionally driven and driven with the greed with the Pentacles in reverse. So there's not a lot of thinking going on. It's a lot. It goes back to the Magician reverse. It's kind of like the reptilian intuition turning into a big emotional thing, which is kind of like how he rolls. So then So then we're going to go to the conscious thoughts, which is, what is this? Oh, the universe. This would be the world. And it looks kind of like all stormy and wavy. So this is the universe is but this is a lot of this is driven by the unfinished business, the unfinished deals, that sort of thing. There have been even stories about fleeing to exile on that Qatar monstrosity. Okay, so this is not in a very good thing. So this is about trying to clear up some old business to see how this would be advantageous. It has nothing to do with national security or the world or World War III. This is all self-serving between him and his techie, geeky oligarchs. Subconscious, we have judgment. Judgment in reverse. Okay. So judgment in reverse is still that subconscious thing of being judged badly and wanting to be loved because they're not going to love me if we're judged badly. This is really not how you run the candy store of international crises. This is all coming from a very immature, emotional, and greedy kind of a thing. So in the past, we have, now we have the King of Pentacles in reverse. Oh, he's got a nasty expression in he's just kind of, in the upright thing, he's just getting seated in the throne, trying to figure out the best way to handle the finances to grow. But it's in reverse. It's kind of like, what crooked thing can I do next and not get caught? That's in the past. I would say probably in the past with respect to the that Middle Eastern trip he took not long ago, wheeling and dealing with the Saudis and other terrorist countries. So in the present, where we are now in the present with his 2-week hold is, here we go. It is the moon with all of it. Then this is probably going to lead us to the next thing about all of this is being driven by the lower energy mental health stuff. And that's basically what it is. It has nothing to do with world peace, and it has to do with oil and crypto and all kinds of self-serving stuff and resorts in Gaza. And I think that's one reason he's allying himself with Israel. But you have to, I think maybe he's trying to, his handlers are trying to find out now, if we were to go with Israel against Iran, it's like, who doesn't hate Iran? Does Qatar love them? Does Saudi Arabia? I don't know myself. They have to figure that out. So in the immediate, very near future, we have the Page of Wands. So it's waiting for a new beginning, and something that's going to inspire the masses to think that this is all a wonderful thing. Good luck with that one. Okay, so then going further into the future with the after tarot, we have, Ace of Cups again. But there's something. This really is starting to merge into his health stuff. We've got the Ace of Cups with the emotional thing and the heart above it. And I'm going to take this to mean that I suspect that his doctors, and he's got the best care in the world, are telling him that he's really got to turn down the volume on the emotional stuff because it could be affecting his heart. So now that I'm on that topic, it reminds me to let you know this is for entertainment purposes only, speculation. But that emotional thing is tied in maybe they're telling him, like, going into an unnecessary war is going to be, it's emotionally driven, and it's going to have an effect on your otherwise fragile heart. So, okay, then a little bit further into the future, we have, you know what this is telling me? There could be, see, this is what he does. There could be regrets, and the spilling of the water, saying that he's driving them to the brink of war or a crisis, and that, you know, he's tried a few things. He's kind of running out of options, that he's dumping that water in the whole, because he went into this ramble about the Nobel Prize. So as I've said before, that he's creating this crisis to dump it out so he'll be seen as a hero. This is going to the stuff that, it's not new. He's done this all before, but this is on a very dangerous scale of international war, which he's gotten our allies so pissed off that they really don't want to play in this. But let's see. Okay. In the hopes and the fears, we have the Three of Wands. To me, this is about I understand, or I think I heard it from a pretty reliable source, that there have been boats in the area, maybe in the Persian Gulf. They weren't there for this purpose, but they're there because it's a regular thing for them to be there, that doesn't have any, but they're still there. So it's like the merchant is waiting to see what's going to happen. So the hope is that, well, they're there in case we need them, and the fear is that what will be the repercussions if we were to use the armaments on these ships. So the conclusion of this is to see if there is going to be this is telling me that there may be a pulling back, and that I'll let you know in 2 weeks is telling me that he's stepping back, and this is another taco move. Okay, so in conclusion, we have, I still have to, the Hermit. The Hermit is in reverse. So instead of being the enlightened, wiser old man, he's not any wiser. And then we have the serpent in the path. And what this is telling me, he's not seeing the serpent and the danger of it, but it's always like as soon as he's ready to step on and he goes, oh, that thing could bite, he pulls back. Which is interesting because we have this other hermit the after hermit in the base, where this is more in the future. This is in the here and the now. Yeah, let's just grab this whole thing and see what happens without thinking he could be bitten and it's poisonous. So I think it's interesting because we got this one here and we've got this one here. So what this is telling me is that, oops, he realizes that, maybe tosses that thing down and backs off so he does not have to deal with getting bit. Even though this is in the future, this is how the energy feels right now. It could change, but this is a stepping back, and that at least for a couple of weeks, maybe, you can't tell with him, that's going to be how it is. So, with the Magician reversed as the main card, I really want to see, I'll do a shorter read on his mental health and how that could affect. That's just not a reassuring thing to even think about, but because it's just, I mean, come on. You have to really have chug-a-lugged a whole pitcher of that Kool-Aid in one gulp to think if his mental, emotional state has improved. I mean, it's getting more incoherent, and every time they ask him a difficult question, it's, what? Oh, I didn't know that. Well, it's kind of like your job to know that. Oh, tell me more. I didn't know that. And it's like, he didn't used to do that. That's the whole thing. He did not, whatever you could say about, no matter how stupid or the big a lie, the answer was, he never said, oh, I don't know. It's like he would just jump in with something, whatever he could think of. So I'm going to do just one a little bit shorter because it's kind of dangerous to think that someone in this mental and the declining cognitive stuff could, really, he's got the nuclear codes. Things are heating up in the Middle East, and who was it? A friend I was talking to today said you could, instead of comparing him to Hitler, go back to ancient Rome and compare him to Nero. And my comment was, yeah, instead of a violin in his hand, he's holding a golf club in his hand as the nation burns. So I'm going to give these a little bit of a shuffle, and okay, we're going to, the fun part. I'm one of those people that really believes that the mental and physical health can be very closely tied together, and both don't look so hot right now. I mean, the guy looks a lot older than his 79 years old. So I'm going to shuffle this a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to go down the fun path of seeing mental and physical health. Okay. Alrighty. I think his doctors are, he's got the best. They're holding him together with God only knows what. I was talking about a friend. If he didn't have those really expensive doctors, he probably would have been gone by now. Okay, so let's see. We're gonna, and as I say, for entertainment purposes only. Okay, so his mental health and physical health, and this is the Seven of Wands in reverse. Okay, so when he's upright, he's able to beat off all the opposition, And he used to be able to do that. I mean, he even with the slipping cognitive stuff, because of good lawyers, he was able to fend off all the trials coming at him. What this says, and this has come up before in readings about him, is that he's losing the ability to fend off all of this weaponry coming to him. This is like he can't, he's not going to be on that higher ground for much longer. Now, the cabinet that he had in his first term was, they really, that it took a while before they started dropping off. And it really reached the crescendo when he was the lame duck. But this time, this is happening fast. It really is. So, energy passing, that is the Knight of Wands in reverse. And this is an adolescent energy that cannot, a young person's energy that part of the youth has a really nasty temper, just flies off the handle, very immature. So this is the energy. It's like, since he cannot do this is getting harder to do, then it's just easier to lash out and be cruel. Okay, so in the before, the Emperor. Yep, the Emperor's getting ready. In the before, he's getting ready to, it's the morning, he's had his coffee, he's getting ready to sit on his throne and begin the day. In reverse, this guy doesn't even know where the throne is. He's confused, he's weak, he's a bully, and he just, this is not a real healthy one. So, he's just not as sure of himself or arrogant the way he was a number of years ago. 8 years ago? Okay, so then we have in the After Tarot, the Knight of Cups. This is funny. Yep, the Knight of Cups. It's, no one has been taking, taking what he's been trying to communicate, of trying to get people to love him. So whatever he's offering in that cup, I'm just going to drink it myself. And it doesn't matter if it's poisonous or whatever. It's just like, well, I'll just drink it and forget about all the love. Okay, so in his conscious thoughts, we have, this is very interesting. We've got the Three of Cups. This is rather delusional. This is a celebratory card. This is his whole thing about saying, I'm soaring in the polls. He's tanking in the polls. This has been working. That is working. The economy is great. This is that. And it's kind of related. In this instance, it is sort of related to the Moon card, because this is absolutely bonkers. He's in his own little world. And the thing is that he believes that there are others with him, but I would say they're just giving lip service. So this is kind of like not really healthy. Okay, so then on the subconscious level, we have the Eight of Wands in reverse. The subconscious thing is not hitting the mark. He's wounded from to me, this is like the failure of that parade. It did not hit the target like it was supposed to. But it's like, my belief is that in this Three of Cups, he told himself it was a big success. And then people rolled the tape, showed the creaky tank, the soldiers like really being like, you can't even, they were strolling out of step. And they didn't. So I suspect that it was called to his attention to bring him back to reality, because, you know, late in the day he was probably sundowning then. So this is on the subconscious level, it's the realization like the fantasy world that he's created is not real, but it disturbs him because he's got to make it real. This is how somebody like that copes. So in the past with this, in the before tarot, we have the Lovers. And this is an interesting one because, I finally figured it out with him. Okay, this is him in Melania. Of course, he's not built like this guy here, but it's like, get up, get up, get up. You've got to come out and you've got to, you know, do your first lady shtick and pretend that she's saying, fork out with some more money and then I'll get up. So his marriage, which isn't really a marriage at all, is it's falling apart. I mean, this is a lot of the stuff that's going on is like when he has some moments of lucid thoughts, he realizes that this marriage is it's a transaction, it's a deal. So what this shows is that he's not really happy. Do we have this, with the Garden of Eden? Yeah, she's being contrary. That even that snake doesn't want to go near her. So that's kind of interesting. So then in the present with this, the Seven of Pentacles. So it's the rotten fruit from the rotten tree that is can't stay to those branches anymore. So instead of it falling off ripe, it's falling off rotten because the foundation was not there in the first place. So this is a result of his dysfunctional family, becoming a narcissist, the god-awful childhood. It's just like, he's at the point of no return, if you know what I mean. He didn't get the therapy he should have when he was 10 years old. I mean, and, after a while, it's kind of like, put a fork in, he's done. So this is in the present. It's the best that they could probably do for him would be to do some behavior modification. Yeah, good luck with that. Okay, so then in the very near future, we have the King of Wands. And this is almost an opposition. This could be the Prime Minister of Canada. This could be Macron. This could be Zelensky. This is a composite of all these very strong leaders that are, this guy's he's the King of Wands. Yeah. So these are the inspiring ones, and this is what he's up against because he is not one of them. So it's doing a number on his ego. It really is. So, and with this being beside this, they're just not on board with him. So, and this is also how they had all those meetings without him because he left in a hissy fit. So I'm sure a lot of that was about how do we deal with Iran and Israel and preventing them from getting into a war and doing it in a diplomatic way. So he wasn't there when they talked about that, which I think this what this represents. So they're saying to hell with him and his stupid ego, but we've got to deal with this. And we're not going to tell him about that because he's just going to go blab it all to Putin anyway. They're really, really wise to him. They saw him up front and they know that, they know that he cannot be trusted. Okay, so further down the line with that, with the after. Okay, so the merchant has thrown the peasants. This is what he does. This is what he does. This is him completely. He's given them whatever he was going to give them, and he's told them, now get lost. You did what I told you to do, probably gave them less, if anything at all. And it's like, well, I saw you and I talked to you, now scram. This is what this is. This is him. Oh, good. You did what you did what I wanted you to do as a lawyer, this, that, and the other thing. I would say this guy, wait a minute, there are two of them. Okay, there's two poor guys. Giuliani and Mike Lindell, the pillow guy. This is what he does. Then is that other one? I think that other one's the other one's approaching. He's not in a good mood, so good luck with that. These people, they know this about him now. So this will be throwing people under the bus, not taking responsibility, and it also shows his history of not paying vendors and contractors. Okay, so further in the future, we have this is, after the burden has become too heavy and all the wands have fallen, when the guy is upright, he's giving it a lot of thought, like, how do I get these up again and carry them so they won't fall down? There's a better way to do it. But since this is in reverse, this is pretty much like, I don't know what to do. What'll I do? I can't figure it out. This guy here, upright, he's figuring it out. In reverse, he is not figuring it out. And most likely, instead of trying to fix this, he'll just pretty much just walk away and leave them. That's it. Okay, so hopes and fear time we have. The Two of Wands. Okay, this is interesting because usually this is a male figure. So this is the Two of Wands, of course, in reverse. So this, she's holding the globe in her hand. She's looking out to the harbor, this whole thing, and looking to foreign lands. This is like he has not a clue because of his issues. He does not have a clue about world affairs, and this cognitive decline is really, he has the hopes of conquering the world, but the fear is that he's very fearful that he's taking after his father, and he is. It looks like he is. So there is the fear that he may not be able to rule the world like he had hoped. I see a lot of this is going in and out of fantasy and giving up. That's why this 2-week deal is really important, because in a sense, in the past, his history is like that's how he gives up. Then we've got the Two of Wands here, and it's again the 2-week thing, looking out to the future, looking out to other lands. It's in reverse. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. It sounds as though there may be a big case of ADD, attention deficit disorder, for entertainment purposes only, which is really the thing that's part of the bread that could have very well developed, because he's all gung-ho about tariffs, this and that, but he'll pull back and then he'll unpull back, and that's the whole thing. So the 2 week time may be the whole thing, that his ADD will have him go to some other piece of drama. Highly likely, but with him, you can't tell. It's so hard to read people. Drunks and mentally ill people are very hard to. If I'm working a party and I see someone's intoxicated, I'll politely decline to do their reading and say, maybe at a future time we'll do it on the phone or something. Okay, so, see these people, but that looks like, let's see, so the concluding card is the 9 of Cups. He just wants to be in his own little world. Really, he goes between wanting to... he wants to run the world, but he doesn't really want to do all the work. So this is going back to his happy little smug world of being a pretend entrepreneur, relaxing, playing golf. So this could also be like, these cups he's retreating behind. He's surrounding himself with the cups of emotions, like the quick fix emotions, the golf, pretty much, that sort of thing. And so what could be happening is that he may be really retreating into a lot of this sort of thing. That could be the next phase. But what all of this is telling me is that for now, it looks as though his interest in the whole Iran thing is maybe going to wane. I understand, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is Friday evening, goes soon to be Saturday morning. I do believe he took off for Bedminster on an early weekend to play golf, and that's his pacifier. It's whatever drugs that the doctors are giving him, but that's his pacifier. There are other presidents, even the Republicans, like I think Bush, who made a terrible decision with the Gulf War, and you would think, but see, the Trump is not capable of looking at that and seeing what a massive failure that was. But so he took an early weekend and he took off early. If I'm wrong, let me know about that in the comments. But from what somebody said, I was under the impression that he had left, and that may be more, that those weekends are starting to get a little longer. So as that becomes, so it's kind of like he's got, well, it's a very Gemini thing. Like, I want to rule the world on one hand, but okay, I want to go play golf on the other hand and look at porn movies. What, I don't think he's capable of, any more of that, but let me look at some porn and play golf, or whatever it is that sees him through the night. So this will be pretty much what these readings are saying. He's going to pretty much go back and forth between the two, but it'll be interesting to see if that Mar-a-Lago kind of deal, or whatever the Saudi Arabian version of that is, if he decides to book on out of here, that may win. I mean, it's that whole Gemini thing, like which thing is going to win. So he's kind of going back and forth with those, but in the end, he's looking very tired. He's looking incredibly tired, way beyond his. It looks like he's in his late 80s instead of his last year of his 70s. So with that kind of person, it's hard to know, but seeing his health and what the cards say, he's going more towards, I just want to go play golf and relax. So only time will tell. So I will leave it with that and send out all kinds of energy that we don't get into an ugly war with Iran. So I'll leave it at that. Bye.